Welcome back to Nightly Nonsense. Make some sense out of the nonsense. We're talking about the end times, talking about some of the things that we should be looking for in the area of signs and wonders in the heavens. We talked about wars and rumors of wars. We're talking about, are these things increasing, right? As with birth pains. You know, one of the other things that we're told to look at is earthquakes. Right? Earthquakes, volcanoes, storms, natural things. I don't know if you are actually physically alive and well and paying attention, but all you got to do is turn on the news and you're going to see a bunch of weather stuff. Right? You're going to see about how it's been hotter than any other summer, that it's the hottest record recorded time in Europe and all of these things, right? So there's this heat. Is it intensifying? Yes. Right? Again, I don't want to argue global warming, but there's no part of this that makes any sense in the whole global warming thing, because they say that it's going to warm up gradually, right? This is this out of this blue warm trends, right? Where it's 120 degrees in Arizona for 20, 30 days, right? All of these things, right, are intensifying. They're supposed to be intensifying. How many times when I was a kid, you didn't hear anything about volcanoes? Right? And then out of the blue, right, you'd hear a volcano eruption, right, here and there. But the truth of the matter is, right, when Mount St. Helens erupted, that was an abnormality type of a thing. I got some ash from that because I had relatives that lived near there. Right? But now we're hearing about underwater volcanoes. We're hearing about regular volcanoes. We've seen volcanoes erupting for days and days and days. We're seeing them in Hawaii. Right? We're seeing all of this kind of stuff with volcanoes. And then we get to earthquakes, and we're seeing earthquakes picking up more and more and more and more. People paying attention to them and where they're going to be. They're in the news a lot more. Right? People are keyed into that. Why? Because this is what God says is going to happen. All of these things. They're talking about this being a terrible hurricane season. Right? We're talking about tornadoes all the time. In recent weeks, we've had more tornado watches in Western New York than ever as a kid. Right? They're just constantly severe weather risk, severe weather risk, severe weather risk. Right? And then tornadoes touching down. Things are happening that aren't normal. If you go to your weather apps and you look at the actual radar on these, you're going to see that there have been several times recently where it has looked like a hurricane was over Western New York, right? Central Ohio, the Detroit area. You look at it and it looks just like, I showed a picture the other day to some people of the weather pattern, the radar, and it was crazy. People were like, that's a hurricane, right? It looks just like a hurricane, yet it's over us on land. So we're seeing things that are ramping up. Are you seeing these things? Are you paying attention to them? Right? I'm not forecasting when the end is coming. I'm telling you, God said, pay attention. Paul said, you're not going to be unaware. Right? You got to look to things. It's what should be motivating us to do the mission of Jesus even more intensely right now. Like, hey, if I'm seeing these signs and I'm recognizing these signs, it's not just about you having your bug out bag ready. It's about having other people ready. Are you telling other people? Like, hey, this matters. Right? You should be warning people and saying, I don't know when it's going to happen, but what I know is that God said these type of things are going to happen in the end times. And it's just the beginning of what's going on. Right? We're still slated to have a 7-year period of tribulation. The whole world is going to be faced with tribulation, right? At a high level. This is important. These kind of things are important. Are you paying attention to these things? So again, Google, don't take my word for it. Look it up. Are these things going on? Look up different things. Are you seeing these things? Are you understanding these things? And then are you reacting to these things? Like, is there some kind of a response from you, right? For the fact that you're seeing what God said, hey, these are the birth pains of the end, right? This becomes crucial, right, to us. We don't want to be unaware. If you think that you're living now in a time where you got all the time in the world, man, it is less certain that that is a true statement than ever before. Right? You may have all of your lifespan left, but you might not. Right? So again, we look for these signs and then we ask God for wisdom. Right? We ask God for wisdom. And we're going to wrap all of this up with that concept. Got a couple more nights of stuff there. I want you to just think about these things. See, are you seeing it? Right? This might be a 5 minute of you just going, yes, Andy, I know I see it. Great. That's awesome. But if it's not, then wake up. And if you are woken up and you do understand all this stuff, are you telling other people about this? Chew on all of this. We'll see you next time. Nightly Nonsense.